Alright, so real quick before I hop over to my my free-to-play account, I'll go through my my Otherworld. What is it? Otherworld. How's it called? Otherworld Exploration boss teams. Guess we'll start with cold. So first and foremost, here's my challenge record. I'll go through each team individually, starting with my my Ice Blast and Frost teams. So this is my first team. It's literally 3 people. 37 million almost. Ogok, Bledin, and Girthin. Second team is who's that? Vidic or Vikuk, Beldel, and Shinna. Third team is Furbath, Cedic, Nord, and Pargu. What's that? Fourth team is Dritzt. What's her? Vitar, Finja, Guzni, and Galal. These 2 are really just here for kind of like the bonus, the affinity bonus, and to get me over that 22 million mark. And then we got my wild teams. We got Chrysos, Bronwyn, Casper, Alfie, and Thea. Obviously, way more damage than I needed. Second team, Victor, Eric, Felicity, Adolphus, and Lico. Next team, just over 22 million, Sonarl, this guy, Caraman, Tanalnan, Dane, and Livia. And then we got a wild team, or not a wild, a burn team. Durham, Karf, Araces, Rose, and again, Beegs is just in here for the affinity bonus. Didn't really need him, as you can tell. From there, we got my Dauntless and 1 Thunderbolt / Dauntless team. We got Shagroll, Nathaniel, Hog, Nimbus, and Avelios. He's not even scrolled nor leveled all the way. Most of these guys, 3 of these guys are level 90, don't have the last star, which is a 5-star. And then we got Shaltar, Vanny, Iola, Irina, and Sally. And again, she's just in there for the affinity bonus. Then my little mixture team, I got Theravol. He does all the damage, really. But this team, again, it's overkill. I got Theravol, Amanda, Hervolm, Enna, and Fathom Down. And then we got my 1 poison team, and the only reason I only did 1 is because, A, I only needed to do 1, but also this boss is a pain in the ass, and you have to manual the thing. Well, no, this team actually was full auto, but it works so much better if you run it manual. But this is Felocia, Sigrid, Rook, Gegnu, and Dargo. The reason why I made this team like this is I was actually planning on doing 2 poison / corrosion teams, which I do have another one that does up over 22 million, but that team does require full manual, whereas my necrosis team, obviously overkill again, did 65, and it was easier to run it. So I've got this Etarian. He's actually pretty good now, even though he still can't revive his angry chicken bird thing. Quisitia, Galende, Zarloth, and Joyce. And then finally, we have my Radiant / Rally teams. And again, these are overkill. I could probably split these up to do 2 more teams if I needed to. We got Ardrith, Laurenthiel, Thelendor, Gillian, and Alvis. This is 100% overkill. I don't need Gillian in here, or Gillian, Jillian, whatever. This team it's a whale team. All right, let's be honest. And then of course my final team is Garius, Huberg, Filto, Alton, and Sagamir. I put Sagamir in here with some basic gear on just for whatever. And those are all my teams. Now I'll go through. Oh, I can't go through one by one and show you, can I? Oh, yes, I can. Okay, cool. So you saw all the teams and the scores. We'll just start at the top with my Ice Blast, 31 million. Here's my skill timing, very basic. I do have her time to go after him after bled in on the first alt, but then I let Girthin go free. Very simple gear, basic stuff. I want to make sure that he goes right before the alt, so that my team has the immortality buff on when the boss does its ult. And I mean, it's very basic. It's a 3-man team, very effective, very easy to build. You could probably replace Ogok with another healer, put 2 other supports or whatever in there, and as long as you have good gear for these 2, they will easily do 22 million by themselves. And then my next team, so that one, and then same thing with this one, Beldel and Shinna. Yeah, okay, this is a whale team. This is a whale light. This is a dolphin because of Ogok, but you can replace Ogok and add 2 more whoever in there. As long as they stay alive long enough to do 22 million, they'll do 22 million. Okay. This here, they actually ended up dying sooner than later because Vikuk doesn't keep them up the entire fight, but they did enough damage to get me past the 22 million mark and then some. Then this team, again, I could add, 2 others in here for the bonuses, but I don't need to. So then we got Frubath, Cedic, Nord, and Pargu. These are all epics and rares. Like this is a very easy team to build, and this team does like 36s by itself without the 5th affinity bonus. And then we got Frost. Again, this is a pretty hefty team. This one barely did 22 million. And I think part of it's because Vitar is just not meant for single target damage. She's not great for it, but I had her leveled to 90. And of course, they're both only level 90. I could bump their damage up quite a bit if I took them up to 99, but I just didn't want to waste the resources. So, they have basic gear. It's all your same stuff. Yeah, Rook's thing here, but you can replace that with any other crit damage or a crit rate or an attack bonus, whatever you have artifact-wise. Like, these teams are not difficult to build because you only need to get 22 million. And if I have some free time over the weekend, I'll try to put out more, all free-to-play teams. But I'm just up against it with time and work and, my business and everything like that. So, this is my first wild team. This is my first wild team, Crisis, it's very similar gear. I mean, by now, if you're in Season 3, you know how to gear your guys. I have him with the Hourglass, so he can cast his ult every round. Skill time is, you always want to have his attack down and the shield that he does go just before the boss does their ult. And it's very simple. My next wild team, again, very basic gear. These 2 don't really matter. They're there for some support and healing. I try to keep them, just to keep the team alive long enough. And that's it. Hang on 1 second, I just gotta change the battery in my headset. Okay, we're back. So again, you guys know this stuff already. You build him for accuracy and haste. Him for accuracy to apply Witch's Remains, and Felicity to go nuts and blast shit. Alright, we got our third wild team. Again, I did level this guy up higher. I think he's what, level 70, so it's not too high. Tonalnan really does all the damage here. But yeah, so again, I pretty much use the same gear. I have him, I didn't really know what else to put on him, so I gave him this one. Works out alright. I want Sonarl casting as much as possible. Or did I have him going right before? Yes, I have him on default. The only people I timed are these three, just to to kind of tune their ultimates around Witch's Remains. But I'm pretty sure Tonalnan applies Witch's Remains from this team. Yeah. So, and then we got a burn team. This is also same shit. Witch's Remains on Durham, Slingshot on Karf because I didn't really have anything better. Ravatrix Roots on Erases, and Hourglass on Rose just for the haste and the accuracy. And then Beaks has nothing on, and these are built for damage. All three of these are built for damage, and she's built for support. Skill timing here, same deal. Have her going right before the ult to put that attack down and do some healing, and it works. This team, I tried to make this team work. It was trash. This team here, it's... If I manual it, I can do upwards of 100 million easily. I basically have... I have this guy applying defense down on the whelps, and then I have Sigrid wiping them out with one shot. And then while these two deal damage on the boss, and she keeps everybody alive. I don't really have anything timed because, again, I initially ran this team. In full manual, so there's no point in doing the timings. This is my second corrosion team. This one does 30 million. Very, very efficient, very easily. I'm pretty sure it lasts the whole time. This one would require full manual, I think, to get to past 22. And again, I didn't do any timings on this one. Very basic skill again. Hexandra, Gareth, and then your 3 damage dealers. These keep everybody alive. These 3 deal damage. Dauntless, first team. Again, it's a very common theme here. I'm basically reusing the same sets on every team. Once you get a good set built, like let's say for Witch's Remains, you save that set in your skill plan, and then you can apply that easily to whoever, barring the runes and the artifact. You can apply this armor very quickly to whoever's going to be your Witch's Remains. Then you throw the actual artifact on them. You throw an accuracy negative rune and some kind of damage or whatever positive rune, whatever you need for that hero. Okay, the other two are, this guy's for pure damage, this guy's for pure damage, and this guy's for pure damage, the little bit that they do. He does most of the damage, actually. Shagrel does most of the damage. Actually, Avelios does a pretty good damage as well, but Shagrel takes it by far. And then in this particular team, Nathaniel keeps everybody alive. And then, same thing with this Dauntless team. Wait, hold on. I had that wrong. This guy doesn't do all the damage. Shagrel and Avelios do all the damage. I had that wrong. I thought that this was Shaltar, but it's not. So these two do all the damage on this team. And I'll show you formations and stuff here in a minute. Okay, my next Dauntless team. Again, she has no gear on. She's just there as a throwaway. Shaltar does all the damage on this team. Iola comes second. And then, Vanny does a pretty decent damage as well. And what's her name? Keeps everybody alive. Irina. Third Thunderbolt / Dauntless team. These two are Thunderbolt. They're pure DPS. DPS, Witches Remains, and DPS. I think he still has the highest overall DPS. This one here is for, I think his ult does attack down, and she's trying to keep everybody alive, and it works. Skill timing, I only time these two. And I think it's, let's see, yeah, attack penalty, I have that going at 14.5, and then it'll stay active as the boss's ult goes. And then I have her starting to heal right after the ult cast, so that kind of, she can mitigate the damage that the boss's ult is doing by healing through it. And then we get on to our rally team. Again, very straightforward, very common builds. Any kind of defense. You could actually put Horn on Ardrith if you wanted to. I just left this. This was my build from the Chief Challenges last week. So I just left all her gear on. All three of these have the same gear as last week. And I just added these in here to split the teams up. Timings are kind of specific because you have to have Laurenthiel go first before you have Thelendor go. Or that's before you have, what's his name go? What's his damn name? Yeah, Thelendor. Okay. So that's Ardrith. So you have to have Laurenthiel go first, and then you have to have Thelendor go, and then you have this guy go. Because he applies Witches Remains, he applies a rally buff, and then he deals some damage. Thelendor is still your primary damage dealer, and these two are your supports. And then finally, oh no, second to last is my other rally team, Huberg, Filto. They do most of the damage. Alton is pretty decent damage, but he is there for Witch's Remains and his rally buff. And Gary keeps everybody alive, and this guy just kind of hangs out and does his man-horse thing and jumps around and shit. He actually does survive most of the fight. And then finally, our Necrosis. This is the same team that I used on the Chief Challenges last week. Isotarian, Quisitia, Galende, Zarloth, and Joyce. And then their equipment, again, very, very basic. She does Witch's Remains. And you notice every team requires Witch's Remains. If you don't have Witch's Remains, you can use the other artifact, which is the Crown of... this one, the Crown of the Unclean. It does a defense penalty 1, but it's still better than nothing if you don't have Witch's Remains. From there, very similar builds. I have this at 100% default because they do a lot of... it doesn't matter if you time this team, really, because Quisitia and Galende do a lot of control of the boss's ults, and Galende gives herself or himself, you know, ultimate up. So I just let it run at full auto, no timing, and it works. It does 60-some mil. So that's it. I can't deploy the teams right now, so I have to do that in another video because they won't let you, even though that you know that it doesn't count. So I can't show you the formations right now. I'll get back on and show them tomorrow. And that's pretty much it for those teams. So yeah, I'll be back on live stream in a bit. I just wanted to cover those teams real quick and get them out there. So thanks for watching, anybody who sees this, and if you like my content,